Hey, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today, welcome back. We are here for lesson 5 of the 7 habits of highly effective people. And today's lesson is about a skill which we never have to learn and are expected to know, be masterful at. So, my question to you is, how much time have you in your life have you spent learning to read, learning to write, learning to count, compared to how much time have you spent learning how to listen? I'm sure you can tell me every single great teacher that you've had that's taught you how to read, write, and do arithmetic. But who are the great teachers that have told you how to listen? How often have you been training yourself, using your listening muscles, getting a six-pack listening muscle? But you're a great reader, you're a great writer, and you think you're a great communicator. But this skill is so important. The art of listening trumps all up in terms of what you're trying to achieve on planet Earth. If you're able to listen, then you're able to understand, not respond. If you're able to listen, radically listen, you're able to, I'll say it again, if you're able to listen properly, then you are able to understand properly, and then you are able to respond properly. If you are unable to listen, then you do not understand and your responses are awful. So, to begin, lesson number 5 in the habits of highly effective people is seek first to understand, listen to understand. So I'll give you the life hack that I've been using for 20 years of my life. So, in terms of seeking first to understand and then to respond, it's broken down, you can break it down into 3 areas. If you behave in this order, you will become a much more effective person. You will be a much more liked person, and you will be a much more satisfied person in how you do things going forward. So the way that you can look at it is from a Greek philosophical point of view, where if you do things in a sequence of 3, then people are more likely to approach you, and you are more likely to be effective in understanding and responding to people around you, in your community, in your area of concern, in their area of concern. So your area of influence becomes much more potent. So number 1, 2, and 3, you have to have empathy, you have to have ethics, and you have to have logic. Most people in the world, when they're listening to somebody speak, or they're listening to someone's concerns, then what they tend to do is they apply logic immediately and respond, and that person then feels that they've done a job. So how I do it, and how I advise everyone else to do it, is first have a good, strong set of your own ethical values. Ethics, the Greek term is ethos. A good set of ethics means that you have a value set in your life, and you have a clear mission statement as to what you want to accomplish. Either it might be a life goal, life mission, or it could be something just to do with a small project, or it could be just something to do with where you work. Yeah. Second, once you have ethos, then you apply pathos, which is basically empathy. Not sympathy. You don't sympathize with people, but you empathize with people. Then people will know and recognize that you're listening, not to respond, but to listen. And then finally, the least important of all, but the one that's most overly valued, is to apply logic. The human brain can solve so many problems in the world by the use of logic. Once someone has recognized your ethical standpoint, and then they recognize that you are empathizing with them, then whatever that comes out of your mouth logically will be received well by them. Apply these 3 principles: ethics, empathy, and then logic. Ethos, pathos, logos. Ethos, pathos, and then logos. Seek first to understand and then be understood. So if you're applying ethos and pathos, ethics and empathy, you are seeking first to understand. And then when you're applying logos, then you are seeking to be understood. If you do it the other way around, you lose your audience very, very quickly, and you find it very, very difficult to retrieve that point. You can do some self-development with this. You can look at your own interactions and actually in your brain say to yourself, am I seeking to respond? Am I paying lip service? Or am I actually radically seeking to be an effective listener? And if you fall in the first two categories, I guarantee you, you're not applying ethos and pathos in your life. You are just applying you're waiting for your moment to apply logic to the interaction. If you find yourself in that situation, get yourself back into reminding yourself what your ethics are, and then begin to listen empathetically. The other side of this is so ethos, pathos, logos. If you are unable to put this forward, what tends to happen is you respond to people's situations. You respond to new situations purely on the basis of your own life experiences. And if you do that, then all your responses become incorrect, unhelpful. They come across as you know it all. But if you do it via the ethos, pathos, and then logos, it will come across that you are listening. It will come across that you have an ethical set of values. And it will also come across that you are well read, which is the other side of improving your empathy, is understanding many, many other people have been through different situations to yourself. And the more you read, the more biographical accounts you read, the more books you read, you will become a better person. When I say to people get a mentor, they find that quite heavy. But if you listen to a mentor who's been there, done it before, you will find yourself not having to go there and do the same thing again. Another ninja hack on this one is very simple. When you're responding in terms of and being an active listener, all of your suggestions should be in the frame of and you think and you feel and you understand, replying to the person. If you begin your commentary with I think, I feel, and I understand it this way, you've sought to be understood first. But if you begin your conversations and you say, oh, and you think this, and do you feel this way, or do you understand this way? That's the position to be in. Because once you've acknowledged how someone feels, thinks, and understands, and then you can offer your opinion. And then say, well, I think this, because that's your skill coming out. First, you will need to understand what their skill set is, their understanding is, before you apply your skill set and your understanding. I'm just going to summarize again. Seek first to understand and then be understood. Apply the principles of ethics, then empathy, and then logic. When conversing, speak to reflect what the other person is saying. You feel, you think, you understand, before you start with an I think, I feel, and I understand. And then finally, just make sure you don't respond in one of these 4 erroneous ways. So when you're listening to understand, you do not evaluate what someone is saying. Do not probe to find answers that you're going to be comfortable with. Do not advise before you've fully understood what the issues are. Finally, and worst of all, do not interpret what the person is saying based purely on your understanding of. Do make sure you try to understand first before you seek to be understood. Okay, and that wraps up lesson number 5 of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The book link is in the description, and please subscribe to my channel and continue this set of lessons. Come back for more content, and hope to see you soon. Wa akhiru dawana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.